The emergency alert echoed through the pristine halls of the Galactic Central Medical Station, its harmonious tones a stark contrast to the chaos that would soon follow. A human patient, the station's first, was incoming from the mining operation on Kepler 4 bits. Junior medic Tizeri nervously adjusted their four-fingered hands over the sterilization field, all three of their eyes fixed on the emergency bay doors. They had studied xenobiology extensively, but humans were rarely more than a footnote in their medical texts. Dangerous creatures from a high-gravity death world, best avoided. The doors hissed open. Sarah Chen, mining engineer and the only human within 50 light-years, was conscious and alert despite the deep gash running along her forearm. Dark red blood, so different from the pale blues and greens Kizeri was used to, oozed from the wound. Pressure valve. Blue, Sarah managed through gritted teeth. Caught the edge. Just needs some basic treatment. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Zilrix glided into the room on their gravity suspension pad, tentacles efficiently arranging medical instruments. Begin cellular reconstruction protocol, they ordered, their translator rendering their vibrations into standard Galactic. And prepare the blood replacement. They fell silent, all four tentacles freezing in place. Tizeri saw it too. The human's blood was doing something impossible. Instead of continuing to flow, it was changing, darkening, thickening. Around the edges of the wound, it began to congeal into a substance that looked alarmingly like the toxic crystalline formations found on Class X Forbidden Worlds. Containment field. Kizeri shrieked, dropping their medical scanner. The patient is undergoing some form of parasitic crystallization. We need to. No, wait. Sarah reached out with her good arm, actually grabbing Kizeri's wrist, an action that caused the junior medic to emit a high-pitched keen of distress. This is normal. This is how humans heal. Dr. Zilrix's tentacles writhed in agitation. Impossible. No sentient species would evolve such an aggressive biological response. The cellular trauma alone. It's called blood clotting, Sarah explained, wincing as she sat up straighter. All humans do this. It's how we stop bleeding. The medical team watched in horrified fascination as the process continued. Within minutes, the bleeding had indeed stopped, the wound now covered with a dark scab. Tizeri's sensor readings were going haywire, detecting complex chemical cascades and cellular activities that seemed more suited to a carefully controlled medical procedure than a natural bodily function. You're saying, Dr. Zilrix's voice wavered slightly, that your species deliberately maintains an internal supply of emergency coagulating agents. Do you have any idea how dangerous that is? The potential for internal blockages alone. Sarah sighed. She'd been through similar conversations about human biology before. We have anticoagulants too. And yes, sometimes things go wrong, but mostly it works pretty well. How do your species handle bleeding? Like civilized beings, Tizeri muttered, still rubbing their wrist where Sarah had grabbed them. With measured cellular repair responses and controlled healing protocols that take place over sensible periods of time. Dr. Zilrix had recovered some of their professional composure, though their tentacles still twitched occasionally as they examined the forming scab. Fascinating. Terrifying, but fascinating. The speed of the response. And you say this is entirely automated. No conscious control required. Completely automatic, Sarah confirmed. Look, I appreciate the concern, but I really just need some standard antiseptic and maybe a bandage. The wound's already clotting nicely. Nicely is not the word I would choose, Tizeri said faintly, watching as Dr. Zilrix cautiously scanned the wound site. It looks like your circulatory system is staging a revolt. The readings on Dr. Zilrix's scanner caused their color spots to pulse with excitement. The chemical complexity of this process, it's remarkable. Your blood carries all these coagulating factors all the time, ready to activate at a moment's notice. Well, yeah, Sarah shrugged. Earth's a dangerous place, Quick healing is pretty important when you evolve alongside predators that can tear you open. The medical team exchanged glances that clearly said they were gaining a new and somewhat disturbing appreciation for why humans were classified as Deathworlders. Dr. Zilrix made a decision, their color spots settling into a determined pattern. Standard protocols are clearly insufficient here. Tuzari, begin documenting everything. If we're going to have humans in this sector, the medical staff needs to understand this process. And someone find me the human medical database files. I have a feeling we've barely scratched the surface of what these Deathworlders consider normal biology. Sarah just smiled, already knowing how they'd react when they discovered humans could regenerate liver tissue. Dr. Zilrix hovered in front of the Medical Ethics Board's holoscreen, their tentacles arranged in what they hoped was a confident posture. The 7 board members, representing 7 different spacefaring species, stared back with expressions ranging from concern to outright horror. You've allowed a patient with an active crystallization cascade to remain in the general medical bay. Board member Xith's feathers bristled with agitation. Without containment protocols. It's not crystallization, Dr. Zilrix explained for what felt like the 100th time. It's a natural human healing process called clotting. Their medical database confirms it's completely normal. Normal. Another board member's antennae twisted in disbelief. There is nothing normal about maintaining aggressive coagulating agents in one's circulatory system. In the medical bay below, Sarah Chen was dealing with her own challenges. The station's automated medical systems, unable to process her abnormal vital signs, kept triggering emergency protocols. For the 3rd time that hour, she had to wave away a medical drone attempting to stabilize her naturally elevated white blood cell count. No, stop. She batted away a probe. My immune system is supposed to be active right now. I'm healing. Tuzari, monitoring from a safe distance, made another note in their already extensive observation log. The human's casual attitude toward her body's aggressive biological responses was almost as fascinating as the responses themselves. Fascinating isn't the word I'd use, grumbled Dr. Vex, the station's senior surgeon, who had just finished reviewing Sarah's medical scans. Do you know what we're seeing in her cellular activity readings? Her body isn't just healing, it's preparing for future injuries. It's like her entire system is designed for combat. Well, Sarah interjected, Earth is a pretty rough place. You kind of have to be prepared for anything. The medical staff exchanged worried glances. They'd all heard stories about Earth, a death world with such high gravity that it crushed standard environment suits, where the very atmosphere was corrosive and natural disasters could level cities. The fact that humans had not only survived but evolved such aggressive healing mechanisms suddenly made disturbing sense. Back in the ethics meeting, Dr. Zilrix was fighting their own battle. I understand the concerns, but this is an unprecedented opportunity. The human healing response, while aggressive by our standards, demonstrates remarkable efficiency. The medical applications alone. Medical applications. Board member Xith's feathers now stood completely erect. You're not suggesting we study these biological weapons. They're not weapons, Dr. Zilrix insisted, although their color spots betrayed their frustration. They're natural processes that allow humans to survive injuries that would be fatal to most species. And yes, I am suggesting we study them. Under careful supervision, of course. The debate was interrupted by an urgent alert. In the medical bay, one of the automated systems had finally decided Sarah's elevated temperature, a normal part of human healing, constituted a critical emergency. Before anyone could stop it, the system had initiated a full-body cooling protocol. Sarah's surprised yelp echoed through the station as she was suddenly enveloped in a beam of cooling energy. Hey, that's really not necessary. My fever is helping me heal. Fever. Dr. Vex's exoskeleton paled. You're telling me your body deliberately increases its temperature as a healing mechanism? Sure, Sarah replied, still trying to dodge the persistent cooling beam. Helps fight off infection. Could someone please turn this thing off? Dr. Zilrix seized the opportunity. Honorable board members, what you're witnessing is exactly why we need to update our protocols. Our current systems aren't equipped to handle human patients, and with increasing human presence in this sector, that's becoming a critical issue. The board members watched the chaos unfolding in the medical bay, the human calmly explaining her normal biological processes, while the medical staff alternated between fascination and horror. Finally, the board's chairperson spoke. Dr. Zilrix, your request to study human healing processes is provisionally approved, but with conditions: full containment protocols when collecting samples, constant monitoring, and immediate reporting of any concerning developments. Of course, Dr. Zilrix agreed, their color spots pulsing with barely contained excitement. We'll take every precaution. As the meeting ended, they could hear Sarah in the background, still explaining to the bewildered medical staff. No, really, the blood clot will break down on its own. Yes, I'm sure. No, I don't need enzyme therapy. This is totally normal for us. Dr. Zilrix made a mental note to update all the station's automated systems with human biological parameters. But first, they needed to deal with the growing crowd of medical students gathering outside Sarah's room, all eager to witness the legendary human healing process for themselves. This is going to revolutionize our understanding of biological resilience, they muttered, watching as Kazari started another observation log. Assuming we can convince everyone that the human isn't actually dying every time she heals. Sarah Chen had grown accustomed to the constant stream of wide-eyed medical students filing past her recovery room, but today's group seemed particularly agitated. The cause became clear when one of them, a floating gas bag species from the Orion arm, actually deflated slightly in shock. You can regrow, hey. The student's translator squeaked. Liver tissue, Sarah repeated patiently. Most human organs have some regenerative capability, but the liver is pretty impressive. It can regrow up to 70% of itself if necessary. The resulting chaos almost crashed the medical station's translation system as 24 different species tried to express their disbelief simultaneously. Dr. Zilrix, who had been quietly documenting the discussion, had to raise all 4 tentacles for silence. Please, maintain professional composure, they admonished, though their own color spots were pulsing with excitement. Ms. Chen, you're saying this regeneration is common, pretty much universal in humans? Sarah nodded. We've got stem cells throughout our bodies that can. Stem cells. The station's chief xenobiologist, Dr. Orcs, burst through the door, their crystalline form vibrating with alarm. You maintain a constant supply of undifferentiated cellular material. Do you have any idea how dangerous that is? Sarah tried not to smile. It's not dangerous for us. It's how we heal. Actually, children have even more impressive regenerative abilities. Some can even regrow fingertips if they're lost young enough. The thud of Dr. Orcs hitting the floor was surprisingly loud for a crystalline being. Oh dear, Dr. Zilrix sighed, activating the medical alert. Perhaps we should have warned them. Their tentacles waved in a pattern that Sarah had learned to recognize as wry amusement. Though I must admit, every time we think we've grasped the extent of human biological capabilities, you reveal something new and terrifying. As medical drones attended to the unconscious xenobiologist, Sarah found herself the center of even more intense scrutiny. The remaining students had backed away slightly, their various sensory organs fixed on her with a mixture of fear and fascination. Is it true, one brave soul asked, that humans can repair broken bones by simply growing new bone material? Well, yeah, Sarah shrugged. Takes a few weeks, but case. The students' tentacles wrapped protectively around themselves. Such rapid tissue generation should be impossible without causing massive systemic damage. Dr. Zilrix, who had been reviewing the latest batch of test results, interjected. Actually, the human cellular repair mechanisms are remarkably sophisticated. Their bodies maintain a complex chemical balance that prevents excessive growth while promoting targeted regeneration. It's quite elegant, in a terrifyingly efficient sort of way. We had to be efficient, Sarah explained. Earth's gravity alone means any injury could be fatal if not repaired quickly. And that's not even counting the predators, environmental hazards, or other humans. The room fell silent as everyone processed the implications of evolving on a world so dangerous that rapid healing was a basic survival trait. One student, braver or perhaps more foolish than the rest, raised an appendage. Is it true that humans sometimes deliberately damage their muscles to make them stronger? Sarah's enthusiastic, "Oh yeah, that's how we build muscle," was drowned out by the sound of several medical students hastily leaving the room. Dr. Zilrix, who had grown somewhat accustomed to human biological revelations, merely added another note to their already extensive research log. "Ms. Chen, I believe you're single-handedly revolutionizing our understanding of biological adaptation. Though perhaps we should be more careful about how we present this information to the broader medical community." "Probably wise," Sarah agreed, watching as another student had to be steadied by their peers after she mentioned human pain tolerance levels. "Though I haven't even gotten to how we can adapt to different atmospheric pressures, or our radiation resistance, or..." "Perhaps," Dr. Zilrix interrupted hastily, noting the alarmed expressions around them, "we should save those revelations for another day. I believe the Xenobiology department can only handle so many shocks at once." As if to prove their point, Dr. Yorks, who had just regained consciousness, promptly passed out again when they overheard Sarah casually mentioning human cellular repair responses to UV radiation damage. "Definitely another day," Dr. Zilrix decided firmly, their color spots showing both amusement and concern. "Though I must admit, I'm beginning to understand why humans are classified as a Class X species. Your biology is essentially a walking violation of what we considered possible." Sarah just smiled. She hadn't even told them about the appendix yet. The emergency alert shattered the relative calm of the medical station's night cycle. Dr. Zilrix's color spots flashed with alarm as they absorbed the incoming data. A Meridian trading vessel, caught in a solar flare, was inbound with severe radiation casualties. "How many?" they demanded, their tentacles already activating emergency protocols. 37 crew members, Tuzeri reported, their three eyes scanning multiple holoscreens, all showing signs of acute radiation exposure. Their internal repair mechanisms are failing to cope with the cellular damage. Sarah, who had been helping calibrate medical equipment for human patients, felt her stomach drop. She knew that look in Dr. Zilrix's color patterns, helplessness, the same expression she'd seen in old videos of Earth's early radiation disasters. The first patients arrived minutes later. The Meridians, usually a vibrant blue-green, were pale and mottled. Their cellular structure was literally falling apart, their natural healing abilities overwhelmed by the radiation damage. "Standard regeneration protocols aren't working," Dr. Vex announced, their exoskeleton clicking in distress. "The damage is too extensive, too rapid. Their bodies can't keep up." Sarah watched as the medical team applied treatment after treatment, each failing to halt the devastating cellular breakdown. The sight was horrifyingly familiar. She'd studied the historical records of radiation accidents on Earth, how human medicine had evolved too. She straightened suddenly. "Dr. Zilrix, what do you know about human blood's radiation resistance?" The chief medical officer's tentacles paused mid-motion. "Your species' remarkable cellular repair mechanisms." "Yes, but I fail to see how." They stopped, color spots flickering rapidly as they made the connection. "No," Dr. Vex interjected firmly. "Absolutely not. Using Deathworlder biological material as medicine. It's unprecedented. Dangerous. The Council would never." "They're dying." Sarah cut in, rolling up her sleeve. "Humans have evolved specific cellular mechanisms to repair radiation damage. Our blood contains factors that could help stabilize them, give their own healing processes time to catch up." Dr. Zilrix wavered, their color spots showing intense internal conflict. Using human biological material as medicine went against every protocol, every safety regulation. But watching another Meridian's life signs fade. "Explain," they said finally. Quickly. Sarah spoke rapidly, drawing on her knowledge of Earth's nuclear age. Human blood contains compounds that help repair radiation damage. We evolved them after our planet's background radiation increased due to nuclear testing. We can synthesize these compounds, modify them for meridian biology. A harsh alarm cut through her explanation. Another patient's life signs were failing. Dr. Zilrix's color spots settled into a pattern of determination. Tazeri, begin collecting samples from Ms. Chen. Dr. Vex, prepare the synthesis lab. If anyone objects, remind them that the first protocol is preservation of life. The next hours were a blur of activity. Sarah's blood was analyzed, its radiation-resistant properties mapped and modified. Dr. Zilrix worked frantically to adapt the human compounds for meridian biology, while Dr. Vex's protests gradually transformed into fascinated observation. The complexity of these repair mechanisms, they muttered, watching the molecular modeling. Your species literally evolved radiation countermeasures at a cellular level. Earth got dangerous, Sarah said simply, watching as the first batch of modified treatment was prepared. So we adapted. The moment of truth came with the first patient. Everyone watched as the modified human blood factors were administered. For a terrible moment, nothing happened. Then, gradually, the patient's color began to improve. Their cellular degradation slowed, then stabilized. "It's working," Tazeri whispered, all three eyes fixed on the readings. The human factors are supporting their natural repair processes. Dr. Zilrix's color spots pulsed with cautious hope. "Prepare treatments for the others. And someone alert the council. They'll need to know that we've just rewritten the rules of xenomedicine." Sarah watched as the medical team moved with renewed purpose, the modified treatment being prepared for the remaining patients. She couldn't help but smile at the irony. The same dangerous human biology that had initially terrified them was now saving lives. "Perhaps," Dr. Zilrix mentioned casually as they worked, "we should reconsider our classification of human biological processes as aggressive or dangerous." "Oh." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Indeed. Aggressively beneficial might be more accurate." Their color spots showed what Sarah had learned to recognize as a smile. "Though please don't tell Dr. Orcs I said that. They've only just recovered from learning about human bone repair." The synthesis lab had never seen such activity. Dr. Zilrix's tentacles moved in a blur between holographic displays, while Sarah's blood samples were analyzed by increasingly sophisticated equipment. The air was thick with tension, and the distinct smell of the hazmat suits worn by every lab technician except Sarah. "You really don't need those," she said for the third time, watching another technician triple-check their suit seals before handling her blood samples. "Human biology isn't contagious." "With all due respect, Ms. Chen," the technician replied, their environmental suit barely containing their bristling spines. "Your blood contains compounds that could be classified as bioweapons in most sectors." "They're not weapons," Sarah sighed. "They're just enthusiastic about healing." Dr. Zilrix, who had been studying the latest molecular analysis, suddenly flared their color spots in excitement. "Fascinating. The repair mechanisms in your blood don't just fix damage. They prepare surrounding tissue for potential trauma. It's like having a medical emergency response team permanently on standby." Their celebration was interrupted by the arrival of Dr. Nixis, the station's ethics committee representative. Their crystalline form vibrated with barely contained outrage. "This is unacceptable," they chimed, resonating at a frequency that made the lab equipment shudder. "Using Deathworlder biological material as medicine. Do you have any idea of the potential consequences?" "Yes," Dr. Zilrix replied calmly, their tentacles still working. "The consequence of not using it would be 37 dead meridians." "The council can debate the ethics after we save lives," Sarah interrupted, rolling up her sleeve again. Need another sample. Dr. Nix's crystalline form flickered in horror. You're extracting more. The synthesis process requires fresh samples too. Dr. Zilrix began explaining, but was cut off by an urgent alert from the medical bay. One of the Meridian patients was crashing, their cellular structure beginning to break down again despite the initial treatment. The lab erupted into action. Sarah quickly pressed her arm into the automated collection system, while Dr. Zilrix's tentacles flew over the controls, adjusting molecular parameters with incredible precision. The modified compounds are losing effectiveness, they announced, color spots pulsing with concern. The Meridian immune system is starting to recognize them as foreign material. What about immunosuppression? Sarah suggested, earning shocked looks from everyone except Dr. Zilrix. Just temporary, to let the treatment work. Deliberately suppress their immune response. Dr. Nix's vibrated so intensely, they nearly shattered, while introducing Deathworlder biological material. That's brilliant, Dr. Zilrix finished, their color spots showing sudden understanding. Risky, yes, but it could work. We could modify the treatment to include temporary immune modulators. This is madness, Dr. Nix's chimed. I'm reporting this too. They were interrupted by another alert from the medical bay. The patient's condition was deteriorating rapidly. Dr. Zilrix's color spots settled into a pattern of firm resolve. Report all you want, but do it after we save these patients. Ms. Chen, we'll need your expertise on human cellular repair mechanisms. Everyone else, hazmat suits or not, we have work to do. The next hours were intense. Sarah worked alongside the medical team, explaining the intricacies of human healing responses while they adapted the treatment. The lab technicians gradually forgot their fear of her dangerous biology as they witnessed its potential to save lives. Even Dr. Nixis, who hadn't left despite their threats, began asking cautiously interested questions about human cellular repair mechanisms. So your species just naturally produces these repair factors all the time? They asked, their crystalline form showing reluctant fascination. Evolution is funny that way, Sarah replied, watching as another batch of modified treatment was prepared. What's dangerous on one world might be salvation on another. Dr. Zilrix, monitoring the molecular synthesis, flashed their color spots in what Sarah now recognized as agreement. Perhaps that's why the galaxy evolved so many different species. Sometimes you need a Deathworlder solution to solve a problem. Just don't tell the council you said that, Sarah grinned, rolling up her sleeve for another sample. They might start thinking human biology isn't so terrifying after all. Oh, it's still terrifying. Dr. Zilrix's color spots showed amusement. We're just learning that sometimes terrifying is exactly what we need. The medical bay erupted in chaos as the first Meridian patient received the modified treatment. Their pale, mottled skin suddenly began changing color, not returning to its normal blue-green, but taking on an almost iridescent quality. By the void. Tizeri's 3 eyes widened in alarm. The cellular regeneration rate is off the charts. Dr. Zilrix's tentacles moved rapidly over the monitoring equipment, their color spots fluctuating between concern and fascination. The human repair factors are working too efficiently. They're triggering an accelerated healing response we've never seen in Meridian physiology. Sarah leaned forward, studying the readings. The patient's tissue regeneration was proceeding at almost human speeds, far faster than any Meridian's natural healing rate. Is that dangerous? Dangerous? Dr. Vex's exoskeleton rattled with nervous laughter. Their body is rebuilding itself at Deathworlder speeds. Of course it's dangerous. But before they could decide whether to intervene, another crisis emerged. The patient's skin began developing patches of deep purple, a clear sign of immune response in Meridians. Rejection, Dr. Zilrix announced grimly. Their immune system is mounting an aggressive defense against the human-derived compounds. The medical team scrambled to respond, but their standard immunosuppression techniques proved ineffective. The patient's vital signs began to fluctuate wildly as their body fought against the very treatment trying to save them. "The immune response is too strong," Dr. Vex reported, their claws clicking anxiously over the medical controls. "If we can't suppress it." "Wait," Sarah interrupted, a memory surfacing from her xenobiology studies. "Meridians have a sympathetic nervous system similar to humans, right? What if we triggered a stress response?" Dr. Zilrich's color spots pulsed with sudden understanding. "Natural immunosuppression through hormone modulation, like what happens in humans during extreme stress." "Exactly. Their body would temporarily suppress its own immune response, giving the treatment time to work." The medical team looked at each other uncertainly. Using a stress response as a medical treatment seemed deeply wrong to their sensibilities. But as the patient's condition continued to deteriorate, they had little choice. "Do it," Dr. Zilrich ordered, their tentacles already preparing the necessary medications. The effect was almost immediate. As the patient's stress hormones elevated, their immune response began to decrease. The purple patches slowly faded, and the accelerated healing continued, now at a more manageable pace. "Incredible," Tazeri whispered, all three eyes fixed on the readings. "Their cellular repair is now operating at roughly 3 times normal meridian speed, fast enough to outpace the radiation damage, but not so fast as to cause systemic shock." Dr. Zilrich's color spots showed clear relief, though their tentacles remained busy monitoring every aspect of the patient's condition. "The human repair factors are integrating with their natural healing processes. It's like their body is learning to heal faster," Sarah finished, watching in fascination as the patient's color steadily improved. "Precisely." Dr. Zilrich turned all 4 tentacles toward her. "Your species' biological mechanisms aren't just aggressive. They're adaptive. They're teaching the meridian cells new ways to repair themselves." The implications weren't lost on anyone in the room. If human healing factors could be safely adapted for other species, it could revolutionize trauma medicine across the galaxy. Dr. Vex, who had been skeptical from the start, now showed signs of cautious optimism. "The cellular restructuring is holding stable. No signs of abnormal growth or mutation. It's actually working." "Of course it's working," Sarah smiled. "Human biology might be scary, but it's scary good at keeping things alive." Dr. Zilrich's color spots pulsed with what she now recognized as their version of laughter. "Indeed. Though I suggest we phrase it differently in our report to the Medical Council. Aggressively effective at promoting cellular survival, perhaps." As the team prepared to treat the remaining patients, Sarah couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Human biology, once feared and misunderstood, was proving to be exactly what the galaxy needed, even if it sometimes terrified everyone in the process. "Just wait until they learn about our gut bacteria," she murmured to herself, causing a nearby nurse to drop their medical scanner in horror. Dr. Zilrich quickly raised a tentacle. "Perhaps we should save that particular revelation for another day. The medical community can only handle so many paradigm shifts at once." Looking at the successfully treated patient, now resting comfortably as their body repaired itself at unprecedented speeds, Sarah had to agree. Sometimes, revolution was best served one medical miracle at a time. The news spread through the galactic medical community faster than a plasma storm. Within days of the successful treatment of the Meridian radiation victims, the station's communication system was overwhelmed with incoming calls from medical facilities across 3 spiral arms. Dr. Zilrich's office had become a command center, their tentacles constantly moving between multiple holographic displays as they fielded questions, concerns, and demands for the revolutionary treatment protocol. "No, you cannot simply inject unmodified human blood factors into non-human patients," they explained for what felt like the 1,000th time, their color spots showing clear exasperation. "The molecular modification process is crucial for..." They were interrupted by another urgent alert. Sarah, who had been helping document the treatment procedure, looked up from her work. "Another emergency." Worse, Dr. Zilrich's color spots paled. The Central Medical Facility on Proxima II attempted to recreate our treatment using their own modified version of human cellular factors. They weren't as careful with the immune response modifications. The resulting chaos took hours to sort out. While no patients were permanently harmed, the incident sparked a fierce debate in the medical community. Traditional physicians called for an immediate ban on all human-derived treatments, while others demanded unrestricted access to what they called Deathworlder medicine. "This is getting out of hand," Sarah observed, watching as another heated argument broke out in the station's main conference room. "They're treating human biology like it's either a miracle cure or a biological weapon. Can you blame them?" Kazari asked, their three eyes focused on the latest batch of incoming messages. "Your species' cellular repair mechanisms break half our known medical rules. The ability to adapt such aggressive healing responses for other species, it's unprecedented." The debate reached new levels when Dr. Nixis, surprisingly, spoke in favor of continuing the research at a Galactic Medical Council emergency session. While the potential risks cannot be ignored, their crystalline form resonated. The successful treatment of the Meridian radiation victims demonstrates the unique value of human biological processes when properly understood and controlled. The council chambers erupted in argument. Species that had evolved in safer environments couldn't comprehend deliberately using Deathworlder biology as medicine. Others saw the potential benefits as outweighing the risks. Dr. Zilrix, testifying remotely, raised all four tentacles for attention. "The question isn't whether human biology is too dangerous to use in medicine. The question is whether we can afford not to use it when lives could be saved." The debate might have continued indefinitely, if not for a new crisis. Reports began coming in of black market, human healing treatments, dangerous attempts to recreate their work without proper understanding or safeguards. "This is exactly what we feared." Dr. Vex's exoskeleton clicked anxiously as they reviewed the reports. Without proper modification and control, human biological factors could cause severe immune reactions or worse. Sarah, who had been quietly thinking, suddenly straightened. "Then we need to make sure they do it right." Her suggestion, presented to the council the next day, was bold. Establish a dedicated research center at the station, focusing on adapting human biological processes for safe medical use across species. The station would develop standardized protocols, train medical teams, and ensure proper safety measures were followed. "You want us to officially sanction the study of Deathworlder biology for medical purposes?" One council member's translator crackled with disbelief. "No," Sarah replied firmly. "I want you to sanction the development of new medical treatments that could save countless lives. The fact that they're derived from human biology is secondary to their potential benefit." Dr. Zilrix, their color spots showing pride, added their support. "We've already proven it can work. Now we need to ensure it works safely, consistently, and under proper medical supervision." The council's deliberation was intense, but the evidence was undeniable. The successfully treated Meridians had recovered faster and more completely than anyone had thought possible. The potential for similar breakthroughs in other areas of medicine couldn't be ignored. Finally, they'd reached a decision. The research center was approved, with Dr. Zilrix appointed as chief researcher and Sarah as human biology consultant. "Just promise me one thing," Dr. Zilrix said later, their color spots showing amusement. "We introduced them to human gut bacteria after they've accepted our other research proposals." Sarah laughed. "Deal. Though wait until they learn about our adaptive immune system." The medical station's new status was officially announced the next day. As the news spread, applications from medical researchers across the galaxy began pouring in, all eager to study what was being called the human revolution in medical science. Humans, Kazari mused, watching the excitement unfold. Still terrifying, but now terrifyingly useful. "We'll take that as a compliment," Sarah grinned, already planning their next research project. 6 months after the Meridian incident, the Galactic Central Medical Station had transformed. What was once a standard medical facility had become the galaxy's premier center for xenobiological medicine, with a special focus on adapting human biological processes for multi-species treatment. Sarah, now heading the Human Biological Applications Department, stood in the newly expanded emergency ward, watching the organized chaos with satisfaction. A mixed group of human and alien medical staff worked seamlessly together, their former fears of human biology replaced by understanding and respect. Incoming emergency, Tizeri announced, their 3 eyes tracking multiple holographic displays. Mining accident in the Carina sector. Multiple casualties. Mixed species. Dr. Zilrix glided in on their gravity pad, tentacles already arranging medical instruments. Species breakdown. 3 humans, 2 meridians, and a crystalline. Tizeri reported. Various injuries from asteroid impact damage. 6 months ago, such a mixed species emergency would have caused panic. Now, the medical team moved with practiced efficiency, each knowing exactly how to adapt their treatments for different biologies. The first patients arrived minutes later. Sarah watched as Dr. Zilrix's team smoothly implemented protocols that would have been unthinkable half a year ago. Human-derived healing factors, modified for each species, working alongside traditional treatments. Amazing, Dr. Nixis observed, their crystalline form resonating with approval. The human patient's natural healing responses are actually accelerating the effectiveness of our standard treatments. Indeed, the human miner's rapid healing was helping calibrate treatment timing for the others. What had once been seen as dangerously aggressive biology was now a valuable baseline for emergency care. We're seeing something unprecedented in the Meridian patients, Dr. Vex reported, their exoskeleton clicking excitedly. Their bodies are starting to mimic human healing speeds, but in a controlled way. It's like their cells remember the previous exposure to human healing factors. Dr. Zilrix's color spots pulsed with scientific curiosity. Adaptive cellular memory. Fascinating. The implications for long-term treatment of chronic conditions. They were interrupted by an urgent call from the genetics department. The research team had made a breakthrough in understanding how human children's enhanced healing capabilities might be adapted to treat genetic disorders in other species. Their healing plasticity is remarkable, the genetics chief explained, their bioluminescent patterns bright with excitement. The way human children's bodies can repair and regenerate. If we can safely adapt those mechanisms, we might be able to treat conditions we once thought permanent. Sarah couldn't help smiling as she remembered the early days, when the medical staff had feared her blood clotting would somehow contaminate the entire station. Now, human biology was revolutionizing galactic medicine in ways no one had imagined. Dr. Chen, a junior medic, hurried over, their appendages waving excitedly. The council has approved our proposal for the Integrated Biology Research Center. We can start studying human gut bacteria next month. Wonderful, Sarah replied, trying not to laugh at Dr. Yerx's visible shudder nearby. The xenobiologist had finally stopped fainting at human biological revelations, but the idea of beneficial internal microorganisms still made them nervous. Dr. Zilrix, finishing up with the emergency patients, joined them. Their color spots showed clear satisfaction. 6 months ago, they wanted to classify human biology as a potential hazard. Now they're funding research into it. Quite a change. Humans do tend to grow on you. Sarah grinned. Sometimes literally, in the case of our beneficial bacteria. Please, Dr. Yerx groaned. One terrifying biological revelation at a time. The station's success had sparked a wider change in how the galaxy viewed human biology. What was once feared was now studied with fascination. Medical students from across the galaxy competed for residencies at the station, eager to learn about what they called aggressive healing techniques. We've had an impact far beyond medicine, Dr. Zilrix observed, their color spots showing thoughtful patterns. The galaxy is learning that different doesn't always mean dangerous, and that sometimes the most remarkable solutions come from the most unexpected places. As if to prove their point, an alert came in about a breakthrough in the pediatric ward. a young crystalline patient with a growth disorder, was showing positive response to a treatment derived from human children's rapid healing abilities. Natural-born healers, Dr. Zilrich's muse, watching the celebration in the pediatric ward. Though perhaps we should keep that phrase out of the official medical literature. Sarah watched as human and alien medical staff worked together, sharing knowledge and techniques that would have been unthinkable months ago. You know what the best part is? We're just getting started. Wait until they learn about our adaptive immune system's memory cells. Dr. Zilrich's color spots showed what Sarah now knew was their version of a grin. One medical revolution at a time, Dr. Chen. One revolution at a time.